Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who were already subscribed, you may have known me as Audacious Threads, but I actually changed my channel name to Stitched by Ashley D now, so that is what I'll be going by from now on, and also on TikTok. Now this size hat is from 3 years to preteens. My friend actually hit me up and asked me if I could recreate this hat for her daughter. And this hat was inspired by Maya Wear on Etsy. I think it's such a cute, nostalgic hat. And so I went ahead and recreated my own version of it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the materials we're gonna need are some red yarn, green yarn, yellow yarn, purple, this is more like violet, but this is the closest I could find, and this army green yarn. And then for the hook sizes, we're going to need a 6mm crochet hook and a 2.75mm crochet hook, needle, scissors, and some stitch markers. Let's get started. So starting off with the main portion of our hat, we're going to take our red yarn and our 6mm crochet hook, and then you're going to create a slip knot, and then you're going to chain up 5. After you've chained up 5, you're going to slip stitch in the beginning chain, creating a circle. Okay, so working inside of this ring, we're going to place 12 double crochets into that loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then you're just going to continue placing double crochets into this ring until you have 12. I will meet y'all at the end. Okay, make sure you pull that ring nice and tight. And then we're going to slip stitch at the top of our first double crochet. Okay, now you're going to chain up 2. And then in the next stitch, you're going to place 1 double crochet. Okay, and then in the next stitch you're going to place 2 double crochets. That first chain 2 counted as a double crochet, so we're going to be increasing in each stitch in this round. You should finish with a total of 24 double crochets. So continue on with the double crochet increase, and I'll meet you guys at the end. Go ahead and slip stitch at the top of that chain 2. And now our second round is complete. You're going to chain up 2. You're going to place a double crochet into the next stitch. So not the same one that we did last time, but into the next stitch. And then you're going to place another double crochet into that same stitch. Then in the next stitch, you're going to place 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, you're going to place 2 double crochets, or a double crochet increase, sorry. And then the next stitch, 1 double crochet. Next stitch, double crochet increase, and you should end with a total of 36 double crochets. I will meet y'all at the end. Okay, we're at the end. I'm finishing my last double crochet increase. Like I said, you should have ended with 36 double crochets, and Go ahead and slip stitch at the top of that chain 2. Go ahead and chain up 2. Go ahead and place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then place a double crochet increase in that next stitch. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then a double crochet increase in the next stitch. So you should finish with a total of 48 double crochets in this round. And I will meet y'all at the end. Okay, I'm finishing up my last double crochet increase. And like I said before, you should have ended with 48 double crochets. Then you're going to slip stitch at the top of the chain 2. Go ahead and chain up 2. This is going to count as our first double crochet, and now you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 14 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then in this stitch we're going to place a double crochet increase. So in our 15th stitch we're placing a double crochet increase, okay? All right, and now we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 15 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then in our 16th stitch we're going to place a double crochet increase. All right, and then you're just going to place 1 double crochet into each stitch in the round till we get to the end. And you should end with a total of 51 stitches in this round. Okay, we're at the end. Go ahead and slip stitch at the top of the chain 2. Okay, now I'm gonna chain up 2, and then for the next 6 rounds, I'm just gonna place 1 double crochet into each stitch in the round. And you should still finish with a total of 51 double crochets. I will see y'all at the end. Okay, and here is the hat. All completed. I did a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 rows in total. Okay, next we're going to be working on the antennas. I already did one, so I'm going to do the second one with you all. Taking your violet yarn, and then we're also going to be using our 2.75 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. I'm going to be making a magic ring. I know y'all saw me about to make a slip knot, but if you want to use the slip knot trick and chaining up 5 and then slip stitching at the first chain, you can do that. But I'm going to do a magic ring, and then I'm going to single crochet 1, and then I'm going to place 6 single crochets into the center of that ring. Okay, I'm finishing up my last one, and then I'm going to pull my circle closed. And then for this one, we're going to be working in a round, so you're going to need your stitch marker for this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place a single crochet into the top of that first single crochet that we did. Okay, and go ahead and grab your stitch marker and mark your spot. Now I'm going to place another single crochet into that same stitch that I just placed my single crochet in. And we're going to be doing a single crochet. Sorry, my camera is not focusing very well. And we're going to be placing a single crochet increase into each stitch in this round for a total of 12 single crochets once we're done. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and just keep repeating, adding a single crochet increase in every stitch in this round. I'll meet y'all at the end. All right, and that's my last one. Okay, should end up with 12. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker and place a single crochet into that stitch. Take your stitch marker, mark your spot, and then in the next stitch, place 1 single crochet. And then we're just going to be working 1 single crochet into each stitch in this round. And I will meet y'all at the end. You should still end up with 12. Okay, so I just finished that round, still ended with 12. Now for this round, round 4, we're going to do the same thing. So place 1 single crochet into each stitch in this round. Do not forget your stitch marker, and I'll meet y'all at the end. Okay, and as you can see, it's starting to form that little antenna ball shape, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go ahead and unfold it so that it's easier to crochet in the round. Okay, and I'm going to show you all how to decrease. So remove your stitch marker, and we are going to be working in the outer, waiting for my camera to focus. We're going to be working on the outer loops only for this round only. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook, pulling the outer loop, and then insert your hook into the next outer loop, and then you're going to yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And that is how you decrease. Don't forget to add your stitch marker. Again, showing you again, working in the outer loops, insert your hook through, insert your hook through the next outer loop, yarn over, pull through both of those, fix my yarn, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And then I'm going to show y'all just one more time. So insert your hook into the outer loop, insert your hook into the outer loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. And that is how you decrease. Now we're going to continue that in this round, and you should end up with a total of 6 again. 6 single crochets in this round. Okay, see you at the end. All right, and this is what it's looking like. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker. Place a single crochet into that stitch. And then take your stitch marker, place it back. Now this is round 6. So for round 6 through 11, we're just going to place 1 single crochet into each stitch in the round. You should still finish with 6 crochets in total, and I will meet y'all at the end. All right, so here I am at the end. I went ahead and slip stitched into where my stitch marker was. I slip stitched and then I chained 1, and now here I am cutting it, leaving a long enough tail so that I can sew it to the hat. And here are my 2 little antennas. All right, so now we're going to be working on the eye of the caterpillar. So starting off with your green yarn, we're going to use our 2.75 millimeter crochet hook. If you don't have a 2.75, you can also use a 3.5. That works as well. I'm going to be making a magic ring. If you can't make a magic ring, just chain up 5 and then connect at the beginning chain. All right, here's my magic ring. I'm going to chain up 3. This is going to count as our first double crochet. And then I'm going to place 11 more double crochets into this ring. So we already have 1, place 11 more into the ring. Go ahead and pull your ring closed. And then slip stitch at the top of that, chain 3. Okay, so this is where the oval shape starts to come into play. So chain up 2, and the next stitch we're going to place a half double crochet. Okay, and then in the next stitch we're going to place a triple half double crochet, so 3 half double crochets into the next stitch. So here's 1, 2, 3. In the next stitch, we're going to repeat, place 3 half double crochets into the same stitch. So 1, 2, 3. And again, in the next stitch, place 3 half double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now in the next 3 stitches, we're only going to place 1 half double crochet. So 1, in the next stitch, place 1, and the next stitch, place 1 half double crochet. Sorry, I like to weave in my end as I go. All right, and that is done. Now for the next 3 stitches, we're going to repeat again, placing 3 half double crochets into each stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3. That's 1 stitch with 3 half double crochets. And then in the next stitch, place 3 half double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. All right. 1 more to place 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we should have 2 more stitches left, so you're just going to place 1 half double crochet into that stitch, and then in the next stitch place 1 half double crochet, and then you're just going to slip stitch at the top of that chain 2 we started off with. Chain 1, and then you can leave a long enough tail so that we can sew this to the eye, the yellow eye. Now I know it doesn't look like an oval yet, just bear with me here. So we're just gonna stretch it out until we get that nice oval shape. The Hungry Caterpillar has really long oval eyes, so I just stretched it out a little bit, and this is how I'm gonna sew it onto the hat. All right, super quick pause. Now you can actually go ahead and take your yellow yarn and just single crochet all the way around this oval, or you can do what I'm about to do in this next step and just creating another oval and then sewing that onto that oval, whichever or you prefer. Taking my 2.75 millimeter crochet hook, I'm gonna just create the same oval like I did, but there is a little bit of a different step in this process. So starting off again with the magic ring, I'm going to make my magic ring. And then I'm going to chain up 3, and then just like we did for the green one, we're going to place 11 more double crochets into that ring. So chain up 3, 2, 3, and then place 11 double crochets into that ring. Go ahead and pull your ring closed. And slip stitch at the top of that chain 3. Now you're going to chain up 3. And then in the next stitch, we're going to place 1 double crochet this time, not a half double. Okay, and then in the next stitch, we're going to place 3 double crochets in that same stitch. Okay, and then in the next stitch, place 3 double crochets. 2, 3, and then in the next stitch, place 3 double crochets. Okay, here's what it's looking like. Now in the next 3 stitches, only place 1 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now in the next 3 stitches, we're going to place 3 double crochets into each stitch. So here's 1, 2, 3. That's the first stitch. The second stitch. 1, 2, 3. That's the second stitch, sorry. And then here's a third stitch. So 1, 2, 3. I hate when that happens. Okay, and 3. Okay, now here's what it's looking like. You should have 2 more stitches left. Place 1 double crochet into those last 2 stitches. And then slip stitch at the top of the chain 3 to finish the round. Go ahead and chain 1 and then leave a long enough tail to sew to the hat. And don't forget to stretch this one out also. Now the yellow is a lot bigger than the green one because on the second round we did it with double crochets instead of half double crochets. So to the green one, it kind of creates a, it's kind of like our sclera. So the green one is the pupil and then the yellow is the sclera. For my anatomy folks, if y'all remember anatomy or if you studied anatomy or if you just know from common knowledge. So yeah, but this is what it's looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and sew this green piece to the yellow piece, but I don't like how it kind of points at the end like that. So the way I fix that is I just tuck the green underneath and then the green yarn underneath like that. And then I'm going to put it onto the yellow eye. And I also to make sure to stretch it out to my desired liking. And then I'm gonna go ahead and using my needle, I'm going to go ahead and sew that to the eye. And I'm about to show you. I sew on the outer edge of the eye, of the green eye. But I just make sure I hold it in place so that it doesn't move and look all weird, I guess, when I'm sewing. But make sure you sew through both of them, guys. Not just one, but both. I mean, that would be silly, right, if you just did it through one. But yeah, so just like I'm doing here on the outer edge of the green, I'm just sewing it onto the yellow. So yeah, I'm just gonna speed up this part and I'll meet y'all at the end. All right, and that's it. I'm done sewing that on. I'm just weaving these ends in so that I can secure it to this extra yellow piece that I have. It's just something that I do. You don't have to do this part, it's optional. And yay, we have finished our second eye. Now it's time to sew all of our pieces onto the hat. So right now I'm just positioning it on the hat, trying to figure out where I want to put it. The eyes on that hungry caterpillar are kind of close together, so I want to make sure that they stay close together. I'm going to be sewing the eye onto the hat using that long yellow tail that we left. And the way I'm going to sew this is I'm just going to work through the yellow part of the eye and sewing it to the hat. And I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this part, and I'll meet y'all at the end. Okay, so far we have one eye sewn on now. I'm going to go ahead and weave in my ends on the inside of the hat just to get it out of the way. Okay, and here I am. I'm just placing where my second eye is going to be. I keep them about 2 stitches apart, just sewing it on the same row that you sewed the other eye on. Okay, now we're gonna make the nose. And this part is pretty simple, so you're gonna make a magic ring. Chain up 1. And then you're just gonna place 8 single crochets into the center of that ring. Alright, I finished placing my 8 single crochets. Now I'm going to pull it closed, and then I'm going to slip stitch at the beginning chain. And you can chain 1 and cut your yarn, but leave a long enough tail so that we can sew it to the hat. Okay, now that I've sewn the other eye on, I am just going to sew on the nose. And remember I was telling you that the Hungry Caterpillar had a very irregular shaped nose? Well, I'm just shaping it up to my liking, and I'm going to sew it on. I'm sewing it a row beneath the eyes. So right about there is where I'm going to sew it. All right, so I'm gonna sew that on, and I'll meet y'all at the end. All right, we're gonna go ahead and sew on the antennas, and they're kind of straight up, and I placed them on the second row. So it's just like, if you look at the circle, just half that, if that makes any sense, and sew it right there. And I already did one, so I'm gonna do the second one with you all. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and sew the other antenna on just directly across from the other one, like I did with my finger. Now remember, these antennas did still have like a little opening, so we're just going to be sewing along the opening to the hat. Pretty much the goal is just to make sure it's nice and secure to the hat and in the correct spot. So I'm just going through each of those stitches, because remember there were 6 stitches left at the end of the antenna. So I'm going through each one of those and making sure it's nice and secure. Okay, and here's what it's looking like. We're almost done. We just need to do the ear flaps and then we're all done, y'all. So starting from my nose, right beneath my nose is 1 stitch, okay? So I'm gonna place my finger on that stitch and I'm gonna count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm gonna insert a stitch marker in my 9th stitch. Same with the other side. Still keeping my finger on that same stitch, I'm gonna count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's so weird, hold on. I don't know why it's in 2 stitches, but that's my 9th stitch. I'm gonna count just to make sure, hold on. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, yeah, okay. Now, if you don't have 1 stitch directly underneath your nose, then if you end up having 2, then that's fine. You can just stick your finger right between those 2 and then count over. Okay, so we're counting over 9. Now we're gonna turn it to the side. So here's our first stitch marker that we placed here. Starting from there, I'm gonna count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place my stitch marker in that 8th stitch. Turn to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Place my stitch marker in that 8th stitch. Okay, now we have our stitch markers placed. We're going to be using our 4.5mm crochet hook, and go ahead and grab your and then you can go ahead and grab your green yarn. I'm using this yarn. You can use any color you want, but for the border I wanted to do, like, since you know the little feet are like kind of like an army green color, this is the closest I could find, so I wanted to incorporate other greens instead of using the emerald again. But if you still want to use the emerald green again, you are more than welcome to do that. Okay, I'm gonna make a slip knot. Slip knot, and starting from whichever side you choose, insert your hook into that stitch where the stitch marker is. Put your yarn on your hook and pull it through. You want to still keep your stitch marker there, that way we know where to stop when we're working back across the row. I'm going to chain up 2. Now in that same stitch, I'm going to place a half double crochet. Okay. Now I'm going to place 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way till I get to the next stitch marker. So this was our first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, chain up 2. Turn your work. Place a half double crochet into each stitch till you get to the end. Still should have 9 at the end. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Let me get it in there. 9. Okay, now we have our first 2 rows done. We're going to start our decreases. So we're going to be doing half double crochet decreases. And I'll show you how to do that. You're going to chain up 2, turn your work, and you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop. You should have a total of 5 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull through all 5 of those loops. That is our first half double crochet decrease. Now we're going to half double crochet until we get to the second to last stitch, because we're going to do another decrease. So 1, okay, we're at our second to last stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull through, yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull through, should have a total of 5, pull through all 5. Now we're going to chain up 2. And for the next 2 rows, we're just going to be placing 1 half double crochet into each stitch. You should have a total of 7 stitches for these at the end of both of the rows. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chain 2, turn your work, repeat again. Same, adding 1 half double crochet into each row, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, now that we've made it to the end, you're going to chain up 2. We're going to do another decrease row. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up another loop, should have a total of 5 loops on your hook, pull through all 5. Then we're going to half double crochet until we get to the second to last stitch. Here is our second to last stitch. We're going to repeat again, doing a half double crochet, half double crochet decrease. Okay, chain up 2. And then for the next 2 rows, we're just going to place 1 half double crochet into each stitch in the round. So you should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches when you're done for the next 2 rows, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm at the end now. I'm going to just chain 1 and cut my yarn. Okay, we have now finished 1 flap. You can remove these also, we no longer need them. Okay, now for the next side. Create a slip knot. Insert your hook into where you see the stitch marker. Place your yarn on your hook, pull through, chain up 2, place a half double crochet in that same stitch. Half double crochet all the way till you get to the next stitch marker. I'm going to go ahead and weave that in too. That's 2. This is 3. This is our 4th one. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Chain up 2. Repeat again. Half double crochet till you get to the end. Okay, I made it to the end. We're going to do our decrease round, so chain up 2. And I already removed my stitch markers. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 5, half double crochet till you get to the second to last stitch. And you can't really see that other one, but it's there. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through all 5, chain 2, turn your work, and then we're just, for the next 2 rounds, we're just going to be placing 1 half double crochet into each stitch. You should finish with a total of 7 stitches after you've done 2 rounds. Okay, now that we finished those 2 rounds, we're going to chain up 2 and we're going to do another decrease. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over again, insert your hook, pull up another loop, pull through all 5. Half double crochet till we get to the second to last stitch. We're at the second to last stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over, insert your hook again, pull up a loop, pull through all 5. Chain up 2. For the next 2 rounds, we're just going to be placing 1 half double crochet into each stitch in the round. You should finish with a total of 5 stitches, and that is for the next 2 rounds. So here's the first round that I'm almost done completing. I finished with 5. Now I'm going to chain up 2, turn our work again. Four and 5. Okay, do not cut your yarn. So we've finished both of our flaps now. Now, obviously, we're not going to leave it like this because it's ugly. So we need to put like a border around. So we did a total of 8 rounds here on both flaps. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain up. See. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 1. Sorry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain up 1. Okay, we have a total of 8 rounds. So we're going to place a half double crochet on the ends of each of these 8 rounds that we've completed. So I'm just going to demonstrate it here for you. So here's our first round right here. I mean, not our first round. Here's our last round that we completed. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm just in the very last stitch of the round, I'm going to just place a half double crochet in between that stitch. It does not have to be perfect. Okay, there's our first one. Moving to our second row, placing a half double crochet. Third row. I'm struggling. Okay. Fourth row. Fifth row. Sixth row. Seventh row. And our 8th row. And voila, look at it. Look at this, doesn't it look so nice so far? Okay, so now we're just gonna place a half double crochet into each stitch in this round until we get to our other flap. So here we are. We're going to go to the next stitch and place a half double crochet. And I'll meet y'all at the end. Okay, we have finally reached our next flap. And then just like we did on this side, okay, we have 8 rows here. right? So 8 rows. We're just going to place a half double crochet in the end, on the end of each of these rows into the last stitch. Just like we did on this side where we placed a half double crochet into each stitch on the side of the row, we're going to do the same thing for this side. So yarn over, and this one is a bit tricky, so I'm just going to insert it right here. And this is just some yarn that I was weaving in. I'm going to cut that off. Okay, so that's our first row. It's 2. Here is 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Now we're going to place a half double crochet into each of these stitches on the bottom. So remember we had 5. Place that 1 half double crochet until we get to the end. Then we're going to work all the way up to this side, and then work all the way around the rim, and then all the way till we get till the end, right to this end here, because that is where we're going to end with our slip stitch. So yarn over, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, and we're going to work into these 8 previous rounds that we had. So on the side, adding the border. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Here's what it's looking like. Okay, now we're going to repeat what we did before and just half double crochet till we get to these to our neck, till we get to our other flap. So here I am at the end, and we're at the other flap. We're going to place a half double crochet into each of the sides of the 8 rounds. Why can't I say that? So yarn over, here's our first round, half double crochet, that's 1. And I will meet y'all at the end. All right, I'm finishing up my last half double crochet. And then I'm going to place a half double crochet into each of these 5 stitches till I get to that last stitch, and then I'm going to place a slip stitch. Okay, I'm finishing up my last half double crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 1 that we had when we initially started the border. And then I'm going to chain 1 and cut my yarn. Here is our nice looking border. We are almost finished, y'all, almost. Okay, now we're going to be doing the braids. I'm going to be using these two colors for my braids. Okay, so I took a piece of the green yarn and I folded it over, and I'm just measuring to see how long I want the braids to be. And it measured to about 10.5 inches. So I'm going to take all of my yarn, I'm going to fold them over, and I'm just going to cut. So here's another piece of yarn I'm taking, folding it over, and I'm just matching it to the length of the first yarn that I cut. And I'm gonna do the rest of this off camera and I'll meet you all back. I'm going to cut a total of six strands for the darker green and 6 strands for the army green. Okay, here are both of my strands, a total of 12 strands, 6 for the lighter green, 6 for the darker green. Now I'm going to take one lighter green strand and one darker green, line them up together. Okay, as you all know, on our last round of the hat, we finished with 5 half double crochets. So I'm gonna insert my hook into the first half double crochet. I'm gonna pull the 2 yarns through, forming a loop. Don't pull it through all the way. And then I'm going to pull the loose ends through, creating a knot. And here's our first one. Okay, taking my hat again, I'm going to place these next 2 strands into the very end stitch. So the last stitch right here, the 5th stitch. Insert my hook and pull the yarn through, forming a loop, and then pull the loose ends through that loop, creating a knot. Okay, that's 2 so far. We have 1 more. We're gonna put one right directly in the middle right there. All right, grab your yarn, stick your hook through that middle stitch, put your yarn on the hook, pull it through, forming a loop, and pull the loose ends through that loop. Now we have 3 strands, and now we can start our braid. So if you don't know how to braid, there's tons of tutorials on YouTube. It's really easy. And if it's probably best if you get somebody to hold this for you. I was kind of struggling a little bit here to braid it on my own, but it would come out a lot neater if you have somebody hold the hat while you braid it down. Okay, now that I've braided it down to my desired length, here I'm gonna add maybe like 1 more braid and stop. Now we're just gonna need a loose piece of yarn. So here I'm taking just a little piece of yarn right here, and I'm gonna cut that, and then I'm gonna tie it around the base of where I stopped my braid. Just gonna tie it in a knot. And this is to secure the braid so it doesn't come undone. And now I'm just gonna cut these loose ends off because I don't want them, you know, that long. Cutting them off to even them out also. And here's what it's looking like. It's very cute. It's coming out really cute. I'm really excited about this. And I'm just gonna take 1 more piece of scrap yarn, and I'm just gonna tie it around the base again just to secure it a little bit more. there it is, y'all. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do this side, and I'll meet y'all at the end. And here's the final look, y'all. This came out so cute. I'm so happy that my friend asked me to make this for her. Hungry Caterpillar is definitely a staple book in my house. It's been around since forever. I think it came out in like 1969. So, you know, everybody from grandmas, great grandmas, so on and so forth, you know, knows that book. And it's so nice to be able to recreate it in crochet form. But I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. Definitely, if there was anything that was confusing, please leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe for more tutorials. I hope, Lord willing, to upload more tutorials this year because I kind of slacked off a little bit last year. So thank you all so much for watching. Bye.